Hello and welcome to this video on walls. This is a very important video if you find yourself getting triggered and putting walls up around you, or if you have difficulty in setting boundaries in a gentle way and you find that you set these hard boundaries that can't be moved no matter what the relationship is, then you've likely got some walls. So firstly, I want to talk about the difference between boundaries and walls, then talk a bit about why we have walls and how to bring them down. A boundary is not a wall, and a wall is not a boundary. A boundary is a movable guide for what you feel comfortable in sharing and giving. A wall is a hard line. It doesn't move, no matter the person, no matter the relationship, no matter the trust level that's there. A wall is often used to keep us safe in our most vulnerable times, and it can come up around people who are our closest friends, our partners, and our most trusted allies. Recognizing when a wall has come in is really important to being able to let it down. Why do we create walls? Walls keep us safe, ultimately. They keep us small, though, and they keep us locked away. That's because no one can get in when you have a wall up, but also you can't get out when you have a wall up. A wall is a coping mechanism to a significant trigger, often fear or rejection wounds coming up, and instead of sitting with that vulnerability and having the capacity to soothe and nurture that vulnerable and gentle part of you, a wall has come up in order to protect you from any potential danger. If you imagine a wall energetically, this may be distancing yourself from people, getting aggressive or defensive, starting to revert into teenage or child patterns, ignoring messages from people, and denying people access to seeing you or your children or people that you have care of. These are just some examples of situations where walls are present. If you find yourself being triggered and you are setting a boundary, this may be communicating to that person effectively why they aren't able to see you at this time. A boundary may be asking for some space. A boundary may be removing yourself without a scene from a situation and taking yourself off so that you can feel your feelings and process this situation. Can you see the difference? Recognizing when somebody has a boundary and honoring that boundary is really important. But also recognizing when someone has a wall and allowing them the space to work through that and being on the other side of the wall, waiting, ready for when they are ready to let that wall down. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not willing to let walls down and keep walls for their entire life. It can be very disheartening and it can cause you rejection by remaining close to a lot of walled people. I certainly have had my heart broken several times from very walled people. So it's your choice in the matter as you let your own walls down, whether you bring in and call in more people in your life who also don't have so many walls, or whether you remain in relationships and friendships with people who are very walled. When it is the time to come out, it is a beautiful moment. I use the analogy of a wall as this. You have literally built a physical wall or removed yourself from the beautiful garden that is the party of life. All of your friends and family are down in the garden, enjoying the sunshine, having a barbecue, connecting, hugging, chatting. When you've built a boundary, then perhaps you've just taken yourself off to the side of the garden, just taking a moment to breathe. or you've gone for a wander down to the other part of the garden to smell some of the flowers down there and to just have a quiet moment alone or with one other person. That is a boundary. A wall is when you've removed yourself entirely from the party. You've either taken yourself back inside the house, locked yourself in a room, even ended up in the basement. You feel completely disconnected. You can hear what's going on outside, and a big part of you wants to be at the party, wants to be enjoying life and being present, but you don't know how, or it's too scary or painful to do so. Maybe you've even locked yourself in a tower overlooking the party. That's what I did. But the only person who can get you out of that tower is you. When you are ready, you can start to acknowledge the reasons why you have locked yourself away, and you can start to soothe those parts so that it isn't so scary to go and join the party again. Is it time for you? How do you break down the walls? Breaking down the walls firstly requires you to recognize that you have a wall up. Recognizing what not only your triggers are, but also how you act and feel when you have a wall up. Maybe you notice yourself getting defensive. You're more frequently angry. Perhaps you're isolating yourself and removing yourself from social situations. There are lots of things that are signs of people having their walls up or having a very strong guard. It might be that a friend, a colleague, or a practitioner recognizes that you have walls up now and advises you that you do. Perhaps you notice them yourself, but when you recognize them, that is the first step, because then you know that they're there to bring them down. The next really important thing to do is to soothe. Soothe those parts of you that have felt so unsafe and so triggered that walls have needed to come up. This could be through inner child healing work. This could be through energy release work. This could be through physically hugging and cuddling yourself, or seeking out support from a trusted, safe person. Trusted and safe being the operative words. That will then allow you to release and let go of the triggering so that you can start to come back to the party. After doing some soothing work, you may feel called to do some reflection about the process, and then it's about taking very small steps towards getting out from behind your wall. You get yourself out of the basement at the party. You creep down the hallway. At this point, would it be the best idea to just run into the middle of the party and start chatting and drinking bubbly with everyone? Probably not. Probably the safer way to do it is to gently come into the kitchen, grab yourself a drink, and have a chat quietly to the people on the outer edges of the party. Maybe stand and observe and watch. If we apply this metaphor to our own lives, if you are coming back from being in a walled space, reaching out gently and talking about the thing that's made you walled with people who feel safe and will hold space for you is a really good place to start. Also, addressing any issues or any confrontations that have come up while you've been in that walled state. Often talking through the fear and the rejection wounds is the most powerful way for you to take control of them. This can happen time and time again. You can end up walling and then releasing, walling and releasing. Over time, if you step away from the wall and you become more aware of what's causing those walls to be triggered, you will be able to reduce the amount of impact that they have, and over time stop the walls coming up entirely. This isn't something that happens after 1 or 2 practices typically. Often it can take many tries, but over time you will see a progress in how your walls are coming down. This is just one quick reminder that walls are often created from the most fearful and the deepest of rejection wounds in us. So being mindful of that and being very sensitive and gentle to those parts of you that have been rejected, have been wounded, are in fear and in pain at the moment. They have created those walls to keep you safe. So approaching those parts of you with as much gentle, kind, soothing energy as possible is the way to go. If you need further support on this, just reach out and we can chat more. Otherwise, all the best with this work, and I will see you in the next video.